My name's Christopher, and as you can see, I've got water issues. So usually, I do this presentation in 45 minutes, but for fun, I'm going to do it in way less. And you know how they say that your generation, like, you can't pay attention because you spend all your time on your phones and your computers? Right, and that's insulting, and it's not true, right? No, you can pay attention, and you actually know everything that's going on around you, including all the things your parents think that you don't hear them doing and saying, right? So we're going to prove that right now, because I'm going to blast through this whole presentation, and then we're going to have a couple ideas at the end on what might help. So I'm a swimmer. I love the water. I was a kid who never wanted to get out of the water at the beach in the summer. Have you ever been to the beach and there's some kid who won't get out of the water and their parents are screaming? That was me when I was little. So that's where it started. But all the way through school and through college, I didn't know that I wanted to be a swimmer. I was never on the swim team. I never competed as a swimmer. I just played the stuff everyone else played, did little league, soccer, basketball, lacrosse, whatever everyone was doing, I just did. It wasn't until later, in my late 20s, that I actually knew what I wanted to do. Is there anyone here who doesn't know what they want to do for the rest of their life? Yeah, I was one of you. There's always a couple kids who know, but I was not one of those kids. Is there anyone here who knows what they want to do for the rest of their life? Yeah, so that's cool too. I just don't know what that's about. So people have a lot of questions about the swims. I swam the entire length of the Hudson, as you saw, the Charles River in Boston, the Mystic River in Boston, Lake Champlain, which goes up between Vermont and New York into the province of Quebec. Been through all sorts of kinds of water. These are class 4 rapids on the Hudson River. This is where the Hudson River actually goes through 3 little culvert pipes that are jammed full of dead fish, rocks, and trees, but I swam through those. When I do stuff like this, I have a safety team. So if you're going home and be like, Mom, I want to swim through a rock-filled pipe where the Hudson River goes, that's cool. Just get a safety team to help you do it, right? We've been through all sorts of gross stuff. This is toxic blue-green algae in Lake Champlain. Sometimes on my ocean projects, I end up swimming in storms, and my younger daughter said, Dad, can you take a picture of what it looks like when you get hit in the face with a wave? And I said, sure. So guess what this picture is? I've been in icy water too. I've been in water as cold as 31.8 degrees in the ocean. And what happens there is your face swells up in your hands, and it feels like you have an ice cream headache in your whole body. I've also swum through gas and oil and the stuff that runs off the streets when it rains. So you know what's on the street and the sidewalk? The trash, the mud, the dog poop, that all washes in to the river or the ocean or the harbor when it rains, and then Swain swims through it somehow. It never starts out as the plan, but somehow I don't get lucky. When you're swimming, you can smell stuff and you can taste it. So when you swim through poop, something like this, you can smell poop, but you can also smell the food that the poop was before in its previous life. So it's gross, it's bad. I don't try to swim through poop. I'm swimming along and there's poop there, and I'm in it before I know it. This is another thing you don't necessarily want to do in terms of career choice. So I've swum through contaminated water, like near nuclear power plants, and I've swum in shark habitat. So everyone knows what kind of shark this is, right? By the fin, what kind of shark is it? It's a great white shark. None of you are shark scientists, yet somehow everyone in America knows the great white shark fin. So yeah, I swim in great white shark habitat. It happens. I also swim with schools of fish. This is what people think it's like, swimming with like the great fish of the sea, but actually these are the fish that I see more than any other. And then I like to make jokes like dangerous croc, look out, don't swim here, gator, haha. I like the non-slip bath mat thing, like you go to the beach, you know, and you're worried about falling, but you don't have to worry because someone threw away their non-slip shower mat and put it on the bottom of the ocean for you, so you won't fall. This is something my grandmother would have appreciated. She had them in her house, but not at the beach, so things are getting better, right? The future is better than we thought it was going to be. Stuff like this weirds me out. If I'm swimming along and I run into a bucket that used to be full of motor oil, I think, ow, it hurts to run into a bucket, but also, where's the motor oil, right? Because there was 5 gallons of it there. They're gone. So this bucket's lost. It's seeking its missing other half of 5 gallons of motor oil. There's all sorts of weird stuff in the rivers, in the oceans. Some of it we recognize, some of it we don't. The plastic bags we talked about earlier, turtles like to eat them. They suffocate, they die. So that's another reason to clean up. The trash we can see is easy to deal with, and we can clean it up. We can have beach cleanups, riverbank cleanups, pick it up, throw it away the right way. The trash you can't see, the pollution you can't see, the toxic chemicals and heavy metals that are in everything, the TVs, the phones, the computers, the little powders inside there to keep it from catching on fire if it's smoldering, all that stuff gets thrown into dumps too, and then it washes into the nearest river, the nearest ocean. Anybody seen a broken TV on the sidewalk? Yeah, so when it rains, the lead in the glass of that screen and the fire retardant powders inside there are going to wash down the street, through the cuts in the street, through the storm drain, and then into the rivers and into the ocean. And that's going to end up making people and animals sick. If you check the blubber of some of the orcas in Washington State on the West Coast, they have super high levels of all the same chemicals that you would find in the electronics and stuff that you use every day. The same stuff that's in your iPhone is in this orca, except the orca didn't go to the Apple store and choose that experience, right? Just swimming in dirty water. So it's everywhere, and there are animals that die because of the chemicals and the metals that are from our trash that end up in the ocean. So one of the things you can do is pick stuff up and recycle it carefully. We've worked on that. Other thing I do is try to testify when there's public meetings and stuff, like when Obama wanted to do a comprehensive ocean policy. I go talk about my experience as a swimmer, you know, swimming in poop, whatever. There's not a lot of people who want to talk about that, but someone should. And then, you know, these are things you could do too, right? If you wanted. You can always clean up. You can always call the governor. You can always call the president. All of you say you can't because you don't have the number. Now you have the number. That's the governor. You have your pledge card, right? You can write it down. This is a more fun number. None of you have that. Yeah. So you can call, right? So what can you do? There's a lot of things you can do. I'll put the number back at the end. This is the question all the adults are asking you, right? What can you do for the environment? I think it's a stupid question. I really do. Everyone has good ideas. I don't think good ideas help. Good ideas only help in one way. They help if you feel something about them. I think the question that we should be asking you guys is, what do you feel like doing? Because what do people do? Do people do what they're told? Not if they can avoid it. Do people do what they're supposed to do? Not if they can get away with it. People do what they feel like doing. Every chance they can get away with it, right? So what do you like to do? That's the question you should be asking yourself. If you want to save the planet, if you want to save the world, if you want to protect the water, you need to ask yourself, what do you love to do? If you love to swim like me, then you'll risk your life, get in the water, find out what's wrong, and try to help. If you love to surf, if you love to sail, or whatever else, if you love to plant trees, then that's what you should do. The reason for this, and you might see this later in your life, it took me a while to see it, is that you don't have that much time. Now it feels like you have your whole life, but you actually don't know how much time you have. If you only had a few years, you wouldn't mess around, right? You'd do the stuff you cared the most about. And I think that's probably the way to go. My sense is if you don't feel it, you won't be able to do it. If someone gives you a good idea, but it's not like your kind of thing, forget it. Don't do it. I'm not saying don't do the dishes when your parents ask you because you don't feel it and some guy told you at school you don't have to. I'm not saying that. I'm saying help out around the house. Everyone does some stuff they don't want to do. But if you're talking about your life's work, if you're talking about saving your planet, do the part that you care the most about. If you're a water girl, do that. If you're a tree planting guy, do that. Don't mess around with the stuff that you're not into because it's going to take everything you have. I really believe if you feel it, if you want it badly enough, you'll do it. The reason I'm able to swim thousands of miles in dirty water with poop and sharks is because if I died without doing that, I would be unhappy. There's a few things I want to do. I want to spend time with my daughters, and I want to do meaningful work. I want to be in the water trying to help. And I want that with all of my heart. So when you're looking for a way to help, don't look out there. Look in your heart. Look for what you would do anything for the places, the resources, and the people that you care the most about. That's what's worth risking your life for. That's what's worth working for. At least, that's what I think. Thank you guys for listening.